Hello, I'm Reem, and here's what's happening. It's all about you and what's new in our world.
Hi, I'm Suzanne, and we'll bring you what's happening in our community in all fields: art, music, and innovations.
And my name is Will. If you're interested in the world of blogging, I'm the man to help guide you through it. Today we're going to talk to some bloggers and look at their blogs.
And we'll celebrate those special occasions. Share with us, send in your stories and your pictures, and send it to what's happening at artwhatshappening.com.
And we'll share your emails with all of our viewers. Remember, if it's interesting, if it's exciting and new, we have it here for you on What's Happening.
Anyone who thinks they can't make a difference should talk to Tarek El-Messidi. Tarek helped organize the first Fast-a-thon. Today, over 250 organizations worldwide host Ramadan Fast-a-thons. People pledge to fast and give up food for a day to help the hungry and poor. This event has attracted local and national media attention. And here to talk about it today is Tarek El-Messidi. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I did do a Google search on Fast-a-thon, and I got over 900,000 hits.
Wow.
So let me ask you, how did you do it?
Well, it all goes back to the fall of 2001. I had been president of the Muslim Student Association on campus at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville for about a year and a half. And you know, I was looking forward to that semester as being the last semester where I would train new leadership and the new officers for the next semester, because obviously my GPA was suffering because of all that activism and work that entailed. So we thought it would be a pretty easygoing semester, and then something happened on 9/11, which changed everything. And our MSA went into full gear. We were suddenly put in the spotlight with all the stereotypes and misconceptions.
And in Tennessee. And
being in Tennessee, of course. So what happened there is my roommate, and who I have to give credit to more than my own self, Sean Blevins, I actually was talking to him about an idea. Why don't we, this Ramadan, which was I think around November that year, why don't we try to get people who are not Muslim on campus to try fasting for a day, to try to build some bridges and clear up these stereotypes. And he thought that was a great idea, and he actually thought of tying it into charity. His idea was, let's get local businesses to sponsor everyone who pledges to try fasting for a day. For every single person who pledges to fast, those businesses will donate $2. Then all that money will be pooled together and given to a local food clinic, a local food bank, to help the hungry in Knoxville. So the whole theme was, go hungry for a day so someone else won't have to. And it really took off that first semester. Sean actually took on a lot of the effort himself, organizing the first Fast-a-thon. And we got about 100 participants that year who pledged to fast. And then the fun of it is that everyone at sunset time breaks fast together and has a big dinner, and all our moms, mostly our moms, just they cook this great international meal. They hear people talk from the Love Kitchen, which is our local food bank, and people from the MSA and whatnot. So it took off, and the next year we took it nationally to MSAs and other organizations across North America. Now, in its past, like just in 2006, there were over 250 campuses across the world that had a Fast-a-thon on their campus.
About how much money does this project raise?
Well, it really depends, like how big your campus is and how many people fast on your campus. Like I know in Atlanta, for instance, they get about between $13,000 and $17,000 for charity at their Fast-a-thon. At UT Austin, the University of Texas in Austin, they had over 2,000 people pledge to fast. And these are people not in the MSA, people just students on campus. And I don't know how they fit all those people in for the big dinner, at sunset. But it's the same in Richmond, Virginia. They actually, at VCU, they had over 2,000 fasters as well.
That's great. So has there been a lot of growth in terms of year to year?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the first year it went national, there were about I think 13 organizations that did it, and then it just grew exponentially. Now it's it's 250 groups, some of which are even high schools are getting into it now.
Great.
And we're hoping to take it to the workplace and for like people in corporate America to host fast-a-thons at work.
Excellent.
What are some of the national outlets that I know Newsweek, most recently this past Ramadan, actually cited the Fast-a-thon. What are some other media outlets that have mentioned or covered the event?
Well, Newsweek's definitely the biggest. That was like October 9th last year. They actually did a whole column on people fasting. Even some of the soldiers in Iraq, the U.S. soldiers, like fast in Ramadan, you know, to build solidarity with the local people there. So they had a paragraph about the Fast-a-thon in Newsweek. It's been mentioned also in the Christian Science Monitor. It's also been mentioned in Glamour magazine for, like, they did this.
There was a girl.
Yeah, there was an article, Yasmin Al-Hadi, and she was featured in Glamour magazine, and they talked about how she organized the Atlanta Fast-a-thon.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Are non-Muslim participants informed about the history or origin of Ramadan too?
Well, that's the point. Like, you're hitting one bird. Well, is that saying?
We're killing two birds.
Stones. The 2 stones or 1 stone, 2 birds?
Two birds with one stone. Yeah, like, there's so many things that the
stone.
Fast-a-thon does. You know, it helps the hungry, and there's like the statistics about hunger in America are really appalling. I mean, we're all probably from bigger cities, but like 1 out of every 10 households, roughly, in America experience hunger.
Wow.
Or are at the risk of experiencing hunger. So some of those families don't skip a meal or don't eat for the whole day. And that's in the United States of America. And people don't know that. So we're helping alleviate hunger. We're also helping to build bridges between Muslims and non-Muslims on campus, especially after 9/11, where that's like really important. I mean, there's a 2006 Gallup poll where 22% of Americans said we do not want to have a Muslim as a neighbor, as a next door neighbor. 49%, only 49% of Americans believe that U.S. Muslims are loyal to America, and I think it's around like 39% who say that they believe that U.S. Muslims support Al-Qaeda. So like, there's a lot of Islamophobia out there, and the Fast-a-thon just does so much with this one event.
That's great, multifaceted.
Yeah.
What are any goals for the Fast-a-thon as far as short-term goals? Do you have anything in the agenda for the next 6
Yeah,
months?
well, we're kind of in a bind right now because, as you know, like Ramadan moves up on the regular calendar like by 11 days.
Right.
So it's going to be moving into September this coming fall, and then it's going to go into summer. So what are all these campuses going to do? So we're probably going to have to like disattach the Fast-a-thon from Ramadan, just call it the Fast-a-thon, and have it on a fixed date every year for like a decade until Ramadan moves into the spring again.
Okay.
So, and we want to do that. We want this to be more of an interfaith effort. I mean, at the campus in Tennessee, this is a program that's co-sponsored by the student government, by even the Jewish community sponsors the Fast-a-thon along with the Muslim students. So it's like a very interfaith program now. And I wanted to see it become something like Habitat for Humanity, which was started by the Methodists, but everyone goes and builds homes now for the homeless. I hope, you know, the Fast-a-thon can become like that.
Inshallah.
I think that's what that's when I look at this and I say one person, this was an idea, you know, that you had, that you talked with your friend and just look at what has happened. What advice can you give for people who, you know, who want to help or want to be active in the community? What can they do to make a difference?
I just think we have to get out there. I mean, a lot of us, you know, are the children of immigrants, you know, Arabs who came to this country. This country's given like so much to them and given them a whole new opportunity, freedom of speech and all this stuff. So I think it's incumbent upon us as, you know, Arab Americans and Muslim Americans to give back to society. I mean, we can't just, you know, cluster ourselves in our homes and in our mosques and our churches and not be involved. So I think we owe something to society. And I think that the Fast-a-thon aims to do that. There's another great project called Project Downtown, which was started in Miami recently. And one of the, you brought up like the goals of the Fast-a-thon. One of the ideas we have is maybe after like the dinner we do on the night of the Fast-a-thon, all the leftover food will just get everyone to go downtown and give it out to people, the poor in the downtown area. That's what Project Downtown does. They just do all this activism in the downtown area. So take all the food after you've eaten and you've finished your fast and go out and physically give people food in downtown of major cities. So, you know, that's an idea we have too.
That's great because, you know, it's so bad to waste food. This sounds like a great project and it sounds like it's grown so fast. Are you doing this full time or do you have a staff or are you part time?
It's all volunteer based at this point.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And actually, you know, when we took it national, it's now being coordinated by the the Muslim Student Association National, MSA National, because they have such a wide, they're a very wide-based umbrella organization that can reach so many other groups. So they're coordinating it now, and we're talking, we just had a meeting last week to discuss how to get paid staff to work on this, because it's really difficult to maintain the website. If you want to have a Fast-a-thon, you have to go on the website, register your organization, and you get a manual that we put together at the University of Tennessee. Like, it's about 50 pages long, and it tells you step by step how to have a Fast-a-thon on your campus, how to write a press release. It gives you the flyers you have to post on your campus. Everything's there and ready for you. All you have to do is just sign up. Your name is added to the list of organizations, and you get this PDF packet, emailed to you. So it's all ready for you there. But yeah, we need to get paid people to do this. Like, I think eventually Fast-a-thon should become maybe like a Fast-a-thon foundation and get grants from corporations and and be like a 501c3. Can
someone donate on your website to Fast-a-thon?
Yeah, I think there's a link there where you can donate and to the organization, and we're definitely going to be working on that more, as time goes on.
Is it through the MSA Legacy Fund? Because that's
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you would contact the Muslim Student Association National if you're interested in donating, and if you mentioned that you want this to go towards the Fast-a-thon, they can help put that together for you.
In terms of young Arab Americans that are now in school or at universities, I know that the MSA, when you were head of it, and even now, kind of does things and they co-sponsor it with other organizations.
Right.
Don't you feel that that was an important...
Yeah, I mean, those statistics about Islamophobia, and I mean, it's not only Muslims that are experiencing this. I mean, Christian Arabs, people that just look Arab, like even if they're like Portuguese.
Latinos.
I mean, I have to travel with a middle name of Osama everywhere I go. And I get pulled aside for random screening every time. So we have to get out there and co-sponsor events. If you're having, if you're cleaning up, litter on campus, why not co-sponsor it with another organization? Right. That's the only way people are going to humanize the other.
I think the worst thing we could do is stay inward and isolate ourselves, because that just means you're going to make yourself more of a target.
Right.
Get out there, be out in public, and say this is who we are. Open up the masjid for the public. I think that's very great.
Unfortunately, that's what's happening. I actually was contacted by a network here in DC who was saying, that is it true we're finding a lot of Arabs are kind of isolating themselves from everyone, and I said, unfortunately, I think it is true to some degree, but it needs to change because it's not. We're not going to be able to affect change if we're not out there.
I think we also have to diversify the fields that we go into. I mean, it can't just be like medicine,
doctors,
engineering. If we can get into other fields, I mean, I think that we can have more of an impact, and people can get to know, get to know us better.
And how do you feel? Well, two questions or comments. One is, with the statistics you have here as far as the numbers of participants in this program, do you feel that it's more of the younger Arab Americans that are contributing to this?
Yeah, it's mainly been a campus movement. So now it's mostly colleges and also high schools. But like I said, we're hoping people can do this in the workplace, and it can get into the older generations, and that even churches and mosques can hold community Fast-a-thons, on a community level and a city level. So that's a goal we hope we can do. And
also, I would think probably one of your future goals would be something to contribute that with education. You mentioned branching out into different sects of education, of different fields.
Definitely.
And it seems like you've had a good response. I wanted to know if I could read this testimonial that we came across.
Yeah, definitely.
Here it said that the Fast-a-thon was a very enjoyable evening. The food was delicious, and it was a very impressive show of love and charity. Thank you for putting this amazing event together. It is through things such as this that the alleged religious gaps may be breached, and we can begin to come together as one global community. However, going without food was torturous. I could not imagine the strength and fortitude it takes for doing this an entire month. So this sounds like it was from a non-Muslim.
Yeah, definitely.
And they hit on all the major points, that this is bridging the gaps and that they're doing something that is about love and positive energy and charity. So
that's
it's all the missions right there in one testimony.
Yeah, this is not it's not really meant to be a religious program at all. It's all about charity, and that's the main point of it. And And we're hoping that like more people can participate. There were really funny stories. We always get people to come onto stage and tell about their day of fasting, and people are like, you know, I had my cup of coffee and then I remembered I'm fasting.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have the funniest stories, but like it's all for a good cause, so it's all good, you know.
Definitely. I do want to encourage any viewers to do check out the website, Fast-a-thon.org. I think it's a very nice website, and it's got a powerful logo there. But thank you
the logo, I mean, the whole point behind the logo is it's a scale right there, and the heart is outweighing the food. You see some fruit and stuff on the other side. So the whole point is to go without sacrifice and do something good for the sake of others.
Right. Well, thank you very much for coming on to the show today. I think this is a good example of how programs should be done.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
If you have any special events that you'd like to share with us, please email us at whatshappening@artwhatshappening.com.
Make sure you come back, because we're going to have some amazing bloggers via phone, and it's going to be very good, so check it out. Come back.